the reviews, it's all about Udta Punjab, and certainly it is flying away, irrespective of whether the censor board was able to bring it into Kabu or not. Well, it is a sensitive topic. I think the story has been really well told, and Sudip Sharma and Abhishek Chaubey, you need to take the bow, because I think the basis of this whole story has a lot to do with the story itself, and it is well faceted. It's got many different pehloos to it, and it is tightly told, at least in the first half, and that's what makes it kind of brilliant. Okay, let's start off with the acting. The men were really doing a fantastic job in this. No, one woman and a lot of men. Certainly the rock star Tommy Singh, Shahid Kapoor, I don't think anybody else could have done it. Maybe Ranveer Singh, but let's just keep it at the two of them and not more than that. You are in an elitist club of taking every act to the next level. You know, the whole pathos, the whole fight, inner fight in Tommy Singh when he's giving up his drugs and how he deals with it and how he goes out and tells the crowd that, look, I am a fuddu, as he calls himself. Well, that was rock star. Really well done. The other guy who stood out just for the earnestness of his act is Diljit Dosanjh. Sir, tusi great ho. Punjab di bilkul ho po. Because, well, it's a good act, and I'm sure you can take that forward as a Sardarji in movies, because I believe that, as Diljit said in one of his interviews, he's not going to do non-pug roles. So you've got it sorted. Alia Bhatt. Well, she just took this to that. No, this to anywhere else. Yes, it's a high for her. And she's done it beautifully as the migrant worker from Bihar who takes her act to Punjab and then gets caught in all sorts of drugs and just can't get out of it. So the acting was really, really cool. Kareena Kapoor, well, she was competent. She's always competent and I like her. So she lends a little bit, but not as that much as she could have. But I think that's what the role's all about. Okay, now coming to the story, the meat of the matter. I think the first half of this movie is completely packed. It holds you by the, I would like to use any kind of words like that, but it certainly holds you by the cuff of the neck is a good way to go. And it keeps you at the edge of the seat. It's a good story about drugs and politics and that very heady mix in Punjab at the present moment. It is a story that is very today. It is a story about people. It is a story about their emotions. It is a story about how they fight with the whole drug menace. So that's it. But traffic was also like that. Yes, traffic. Talking about traffic, there's this whole parallel between Mahiko and Punjab, which is really well done, and that's what Traffic, the movie, was all about. So, story nicely told, very strongly in parts. I think the second half of it was kind of, some things were really not necessary. I think that the whole love story between Tommy Singh and Pinky, that is Alia Bhatt and Shahid Kapoor in this movie, really didn't need to be told. I love the spaghetti western end, which is all about shooting. That's how Abhishek Chaubey tells his stories. Ishkiyan, Ded Ishkiyan are certainly examples of that. And he's taken it forward yet again in this movie. So it's kind of becoming his kind of signature sign-off with movies. So it's got the spaghetti western end where everybody kills everybody else, almost at least. Have I told you a lot about what's happening in the movie? But it doesn't matter. So the things that stood out for me that weren't really necessary were this whole Tommy Singh bit. The other thing is that the whole part of drugs and the whole fight that happens to give it up, the whole personal tragedy of this has been handled, but I think could have been handled more. But yes and no to that. The sound is what plays an amazing part in this movie. And why I say that is that there is a beautiful track that comes and goes when it needs to, but ambient sound, the sound of people, the sound of background noises as they happen in the fields, the sound of everything as it takes place, natural sound, beautifully put into this movie and used to its best effect. I think couldn't have been done better. The rock star of this movie for me is the first shot of the movie, and that's how the title is introduced. It's a flying packet of drugs which lands in a field in Punjab, and it says Udta Punjab. That is as creative as it gets. So in the end, what does the movie hold for me? It holds great storytelling, which is supported by great acts that tell a story about drugs in a particular state. I will not mention that state, it's not necessary to my review. In a state, it could be any state in India, and it's interwoven beautifully with the drugs and the politics of it. One thing that you need to do if you're going to see this movie is take a Punjabi dictionary, one if you're not from the north or you do not understand too much Punjabi, because this is laden with Punjabi. It's laden with Punjabi curse words, which I'm very surprised about that the censor board has actually let it go, because normally they don't. But they're not called the censor board anymore, right? They're called the Central Board of Film Certification. Woo to that. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to say how much I'm going to give this, and that is 3 big stars, because I think it is a well-told story. I think it is cinema that is going the way that it's supposed to go. Hard-hitting, very brave of Abhishek, Chaubey and Anurag and everybody else who's worked on this movie to have told this story. So 3 big stars for the movie. Go watch it, especially if you're above the age of 18. Below that, please don't go and watch it. And one more thing that I'd like to stress upon, there's this whole thing about how a lot of fake pirated videos of this movie are floating around the countryside. Please do not indulge in them. Please go watch it at the cinema. You will love to watch it. Am I selling this movie? Not really. I'm just telling a good story. On that note, I'm going to close the reviews for this week. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, on the reviews. Till then, it's a bye for me. But don't forget, keep watching our other videos, and of course, log into BollywoodPataka, because you'll get the best of the best from Bollywood right there. Denzil, out.